Small one-man gunsmith shops like this one were commonplace in the 1840s in Ohio, Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, North Carolina, and Virginia. You could find these small shed-like shops on farms, attached to the barn or corn crib. The shops usually had an open side similar to this authentic reproduction. In this video, gunsmith Russell Woolley will demonstrate the primitive tools and the craftsmanship necessary to build a gun in the 1840s. Lock, stock, and barrel.
Today we're talking about tools in a gunsmith shop and building a muzzle-loading rifle in lock, stock, and barrel. What I'm doing here is inletting the lock plate, kind of carving out a hole for the lock to sit into. The lock is a firing mechanism. It's the heart of a gun. It's what sets off the powder charge. The main parts are the lock plate, the cock, and the sear is a triggering mechanism. There's two positions, half cock, which is more or less a safety, and full cock, which is ready to fire. When you pull the trigger, it'll ride against the sear and set the thing off. Now for the stock. We'd start with a plank and have the outline of the gun on there. We cut that out and shape the rough contours with a draw knife. We can take off a lot of wood quick with that. Clean it up a little bit with a rasp to kind of trying to get the rough shape. And inlet the barrel. The barrel channel would have been roughed out with a gouge to kind of get the rough shape, and then cleaned up with a round bottom rasp. Has basically the same shape as the bottom of the barrel, so it'll fit right in there. And the ramrod channel is done about the same way. Small gouge, small round rasp, clean it up. The lock mortise that I was working on earlier is done with small chisels, so the lock fits right in place. Trigger would have fit in some small holes. Trigger guard fits in small holes. A lot of holes to be drilled in the making of a gun, and you can do a lot of them with a drill press. And this is kind of a primitive drill press. The idea is the weight pushes down on this bracing bit and gives you the power to drill a hole. And now the barrel. The barrel is just an iron tube formed on the swage block here to get the octagon shape. It's drilled and bored to the right caliber, and then we put it in a rifling machine to cut the spiral grooves in it. The rifling machine has a cutter that we pull through. It's got little teeth on it that look like a file. And we'll pull it through about 750 to 1,000 times. As the cutter's being pulled through, it's being twisted, so we'll kind of give it a spiral, give a spin to the ball. After the barrel's rifled, we'll have to plug the back end of the barrel to make sure all the fire goes out the front end of the barrel. We cut screw threads in the back end here so we can screw in the breech plug. And tighten down. When a gunsmith made a gun for someone, he usually supplied them with a bullet mold made just for that gun. And the way he'd cut the cavity is with a rotary file tool called a cherry. And if he's done his job right,
Hello and welcome to the J.M. Davis Arms and Historical Museum in downtown Claremore, Oklahoma. I'm Wayne McCombs, the Executive Director. And today we're going to find out who J.M. Davis was, and we'll give you a tour of one of the most unique museums in all the country. J.M. Davis was born in Arkansas. He came to Claremore in 1917, and he purchased the Mason Hotel that was on the corner of Will Rogers and Lynn Riggs Boulevard in Claremore. Then in the mid-1960s, Mr. Davis got with some civic leaders here in Claremore, our state senator at the time, Clem McSpadden, and Governor Henry Bellman, and they worked out a deal where Mr. Davis would lease everything in his museum, in his hotel, to the state of Oklahoma if the state of Oklahoma would build him a museum. And here is the results of a lot of hard work from a lot of people, a lot of volunteers through the years. Mr. Davis leased everything in his collection to the state of Oklahoma for $1. And we have that check on display here at the museum. He never cashed it. Here in the lobby of the Mason Hotel, we have a portrait of J.M. Davis that was by Charles Banks Wilson. Mr. Wilson is a very, very famous artist. You see his work at the state capitol on portraits of famous Oklahomans like Mickey Mantle, Robert Kerr, and Sequoia. Also here in the Mason Hotel coffee shop, we have Mr. Davis's very first gun. As a child, he was sickly and couldn't go out and play and run like the rest of his brothers and sisters. So his dad actually bribed him. He said, "I will give you a shotgun if you will take your medicine." In 1969, the museum opened on Mr. Davis's birthday, and it was attended by thousands and thousands of people, and since that day, millions of people have come to our museum here in downtown Claremore to see the exhibit.
Hello, my name is Jason Schubert. I am the curator of the J.M. Davis Arms and Historical Museum here in downtown Claremore, Oklahoma. Here we have our gallery of outlaw guns, where we have firearms from such notable outlaws as Bonnie Parker, John Wesley Hardin, and several firearms said to be used by Charles Pretty Boy Floyd. One of our Pretty Boy Floyd pistols here is a Colt 38 automatic pistol, and an interesting thing about this is on our display here we've taken off one of the grip panels, and if you look real closely, there is a getaway map etched into the underside of one of these grip panels. So it's a rough map used to get back to the gang's hideout. Claremore's become famous for the number of trains that go through town, and for the train enthusiast in the family, we have this wonderful model railroad exhibit. There's a lot of stuff to see at the J.M. Davis Museum, but don't forget to look up every now and again. You might just find something like this 24-foot anaconda skin. What would a gun museum be without something relating to John Wayne? On loan to us from a local collector is an exhibit of Western movie and television memorabilia, including a very large selection of John Wayne movie posters.
So there's really unique things to see here, all sorts of things a family would enjoy. So we invite you to come to Claremore, Oklahoma, downtown Claremore, and come see the J.M. Davis Arms and Historical Museum. We're open every day, and it's free.